Right, we're going to be making some ale today, all beer, and I think this works for other things like wine and maybe things like rum as well, but I'm not going to go into all that. But I got this Tom Caxton Real Ale kit sent to me from my sis via Amazon, and all the links to the necessary equipment will be in the description. At the back is one of the fermenting tubs by Brewing, and with that I got a tap, and at the top you can see there's a little I can't remember what they're called actually now, but you have to fill that. You see there's water in it, so what I've done is filled water in that, so that basically an airlock, so as the whole process as the beer ferments, CO2 will be produced and it will exit through the top, but no gas can come in. So it's very important, several basic things. So have everything sterilised. You can buy a sterilising kit or stuff basically to wash all your equipment, and I've basically just used Fairy Liquid and water, giving everything a really good rinse. Make sure your hands are clean. Temperature wise, I've got a thermometer down the bottom which is reading at around 20, so you want it around 19 to 21 I believe is optimum temperature. And then in the kit there's a sachet of yeast and a sachet of hop enhancement. It doesn't actually say what you're meant to do with the hop enhancement in the main instructions, but this hop enhancement basically adds a flavour, and you can put as much in as you want, and I'm going to put the whole sachet in. And anyway, let's go through the process. I've just boiled the kettle, I'll go and get it, and the first thing it says is you want to put the can into some boiling water for 5 minutes to let the can warm up. So I'm going to do that. Try not to get anything wet. So in goes your hot water, and we're going to need another load of water, so I'm going to fill it up more and then press pause quickly. So first problem's already arisen. The pan I need to actually boil 6 litres of water in was the thing I was using to warm through the what's it called, the Caxton Ale mix. So you put it in just a simple washing up bowl, and at the moment I'm boiling 6 litres of water, which I'm then going to add the contents of this to, plus the hops, and then we'll carry on with the whole process. So my advice at this stage is to make sure you've got something like a big saucepan for boiling water in, otherwise you're going to be using the kettle constantly, and to boil up 6 litres via the kettle is going to take you some time. So yeah, 5 minutes now in here, that'll be warmed through, and hopefully then we can get the boiling 6 litres in. So my water's still boiling, and this can has now not been in there for at least 5 or 6 minutes. So what I've done is I stood it up, and it's not submerged completely, but it will still stay warm. So there's a problem already here, that like it says in the instructions, boil your water while this is in, warming up for 5 minutes. Well, obviously to boil 6 litres, is it 6 litres? Yeah. 6 litres of water is going to take some time, depending on size of the thing you're using. So in my opinion, you've got to start boiling your water, your 6 litres, before you stick your can in for 5 minutes. If you want to get exact on the timings. I mean, I don't know if it matters or not. I mean, this is something now, obviously, it's up for a bit of debate. Maybe someone else who's done this before will tell me, you need to get it right, whatever. So while we're here, I've also got a little thermometer down at the front, which you'll need to measure the temperature before you add the cold water. I believe it is. No, sorry. before you add the what does it say? Right, so yeah, so you add the cold water after you've dissolved all the contents with the hot water, but then you've got to wait until it reaches 18 to 21 before you add the yeast. So don't add the yeast to anything, you know, above or below 18 to 21, or try to keep within those temperatures. So keep monitoring with the thermometer. And the other thing I forgot to mention was there's 1 kilogram of brewing sugar, and it does actually specify this in the instructions, which luckily I've got as well. So let's now go on to adding or making our well, the next stage. Right, we're going to open up our can now, and then we're going to add it to our, ooh, a bit of air came out there. Add it to the big fermenter, and then add our brewing sugar and our boiling water and cold water and our hop extract. And yeah, so watch closely to see the order in which I do it. Be very careful here. This is not where I don't want any, sorry, this is where I don't want any spillages. So yeah, can you make that out? There's a nice sort of, it's looking like a sort of beery colour already. And I'm going to just move this out of the way. Move our sachet out the way. Move that out the way. Yeah, it's nicely warm. And get our beer fermenter here. And then pour it in. In it goes. Oh, it's kind of like syrup. I don't know if you can see this. Oh yeah, the syrup's going in. Great. And actually at this stage what I'm going to do is grab a cooking spatula to get it all out. Make sure that's clean as well, because we want all this. This is, I mean, basically gives you the flavour. Yeah, I'm going to get a spatula. Bear with me. UK flag. We're flying the flag today. But yeah, beer making in the UK has been quite a. Ooh, yeah, it's like molasses. But yeah, obviously beer making's been going around for thousands of years. I think where was it the first? Was it Egyptians maybe? But I know my ancestors, you know, the ancient Celts and my Germanic blood would have been making beer. I think Celts were originally mead, which is quite a. I think it has honey in it. But that's another interesting one we could make. We go full historical. Try and find some historical recipes. It'd be interesting to do. Right, so now that's in. I mean, that's pretty much all we can get in. Could spend ages doing this, but I'm going to use this as my stirrer, so that will all go in. Let's press pause while I get the hot water. Oh, another tip: make sure your floor is clean, and don't, if you spill any water, be careful, because obviously you're moving around with hot water and you don't want to get scalded. So let's go and bring the boiling water, chuck it in, and then let's mix it all up. Got to be very careful here. Don't want any accidents, but, and you can't see the top here, which is a bit of a shame, but voila. Ow. That went slightly over my hand, but ouch. Yeah, not ideal. But anyway, now, so if I look at the instructions, well, this was bound to go slightly wrong, but no, I'm alright. Don't worry. Panic ye not. We will make beer. So yes, boiling water, 1 kilogram of sugar. Is my lid falling off? So make sure, yeah, ideally do this in a place where you've got cloths down and you've got enough space to work in, because it is quite technical. I mean, it's very easy to do, obviously, once you've had a bit of experience, but as I'm a complete novice, I'm sort of blundering away here. In goes a whole load of sugar. Oh yeah. I mean, this is super good fun. So definitely, yeah, as something great to do during isolation. But perhaps we'll all be out of lockdown by the time this beer is ready. But at least, you know, I can show you what it's kind of like, and if you're interested, go for it. So let's all give this a big stir. Get it all mixed in. Luckily, this tap here is closed. Otherwise, there's a tap at the bottom actually. So I've just given it a wee stir. Smelling good. And then it says, oh yes, now I need to add my hop extract, which we'll do. I'll just press pause. So here's the hop enhancement sachet, and I forgot to turn the light on. That might help things. Can you see that? But yeah, it'll be labelled. Is it a powder or is it a liquid? It's a powder. So sometimes I think you get these extra ingredients and they can be a liquid, like a malt extract liquid. So that powder is just going in. I'm adding the whole sachet. We're from strong stock here. We like our beer flavourful. It's going to wash the... no, it should be alright. And then give that another stir. So it's all mixing in. Oh, it's interesting kind of froth on the top there. Don't know what that is. But anyway, once all that's had a stir, we're now going to start adding our cold water. I've already got 10 litres mapped out, done. So we'll do that, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do just at the end to finish off. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Yeah, 8 hours later, we're just about to add the yeast, which is what we're going to do. And then after that, I'm going to stir it, and that's basically it. And yeah, let's just do it. So lid off, which yeah, keep your lid on. So when I've forgotten where I am, and I don't have any scissors, which were here, and have now disappeared. So talk amongst yourselves. No, the thing was after you've done it all, I had the lid off for a while, and then I thought, well, hang on, I don't want oxygen in there. Which is now it's getting oxygen in there quick. But yeah, keep the lid on, and then you want it to cool. And it says to get it to 18 to 21. But the problem is, at the moment, the air temperature is quite high because it's sort of spring and warmer in the UK. And yeah, for 8 hours or so, the temperature hasn't come down. It's still about 23, which is not ideal, but it's sort of 11 o'clock, 11:30, and seriously, I mean, it's my first attempt, and let's just hope it works. But so the thing you need apparently is something called a wort chiller, or you could put your bucket here into cold water, and that would speed up the chilling process. Of course, as it's my first time, I didn't realise this, but you learn. So I think 23. I mean, I'm chatting to my cousin, and he was like 75 Fahrenheit. Should be just about okay. So what we're going to do is sprinkle in, and I haven't got my stirrer. So this is what happens. You get disorganised with 8 hours. And give it a good stir, and then once that's done, we're going to get the lid on really tight. Now, the next process involves the fermentation. It'll bubble up, come up through that hole, and then that'll be like 4 days. But you want it as airtight as possible. Oxygen is the sort of killer, as it were. So I'm Just going to sprinkle on the top, all the yeast going in, and then a nice gentle stir to get all that yeast mixed in. It's actually kind of sticking to the spatula, which isn't ideal. You don't want to be too vigorous here, because I mean, well, I've never been that vigorous with yeast. It is, after all, a kind of living sort of bacteria, so I don't think sort of like, but anyway, you wouldn't be wanting to stir too vigorously. But yeah, give it a good stir. I mean, there's little clumps on the top here, and like if any kind of sauce and stuff, you want to kind of mix in whatever it is you've added. And I've got yeast stuck on the actual spatula, which isn't great. Righty, so we can, it's a good stir. Okay, so that's going to be it pretty much. Now, really nice. Oh. Right, I'm just going to double check this, but what I'll do is basically come back. Oh, well, this will be just, yeah, this is the first stage, so thanks for watching. Hopefully it hasn't been too painful. I've made a few schoolboy errors, I'm sure, but next vid I'll give you perhaps, actually I'm not quite sure. Yeah, you can tell I think I need sleep. But yeah, next vid I might show you some of the fermentation. Oh, and then what I'm going to do after that, basically either put it into another tub or put it into bottles. And then obviously we'll finish off with a drinking session. Right, thanks for watching. Cheers, bye. Right, this is a bit of a strange insert, but the video didn't record for some reason. So the bit where I'm actually pouring in just water in this measuring jug, you won't see, because I'm now sort of inserting this little bit of an explanation. So let's just go on to the next clip. But it was just me pouring water, and let's go on to the next clip. Right, so this is a tricky situation where I don't think I'm going to be able to show you, but I'm going to give it my best shot. But things I've learnt so far, and where I think I maybe have gone wrong, is because I haven't seen too much bubbling up. And I don't know if you can make it out. On the top there to the right, there's that little airlock. And nothing really much happened, although there has been some frothing on the top of the beer. But it's not looking so good. But what I'm going to do next is I've got some wood planks here, and I've raised up this big one. Sorry, this the beer. Basically, oh god, I can't speak. But anyway, I've raised it up, and what's going to happen is I'm going to use this tube to try and siphon off the beer. Now the problem that will arise is I've got to get this tube submerged into the one on the right hand side here, but without going into any sediment, and I can't actually see the sediment, and usually there's this like a layer of sediment here that'll form, so you've got to avoid getting that into the beer you're going to siphon off, if you've got beer, that is. I'm also wearing rubber gloves, because what I'm going to do is use, with the rubber gloves, put it inside, as I said, inside the beer, and then I'm going to put my finger over the top of both ends, and then going to lift up this one with my finger over, and then we're going to hopefully start siphoning. If I can get some video of this, I will. I was chatting to my cousin, and he was saying he didn't think I was proper. I should have used a better sanitizer, so I might link in a sanitizer you can use for the whole of this thing, because I just use like fairy liquid, but he was saying no, you've got to use bleach, so I've just used bleach on this one. Anyway, let's see what happens, and then I'll maybe just show you the beer siphoned off, and then I'm going to put a lid on, and then, you know, we'll see what happens and see if it works or not. So what happened was I didn't see much of any bubbles happening. So after 4 days, I tried to use the siphon. You've seen that in a clip. That was very difficult, and in the end I just used a bucket to transfer the contents. Well, this was the previous contents. It's gone down a bit now. It was in exactly the same bucket, just got a second one of these, and transferred it across and added the sugar. And now it's completely bubbling. So we've got more fermentation, so I don't really know what's going on, but this is basically now going to be left for 2 weeks, and then let's go to the grand tasting.